So hello everyone, and today we are trying to understand a LLD design of library management system. ठीक है. सो बेसिकली हम लोग करेंगे क्या, आपको पता है कि व्हाट इज अ लाइब्रेरी मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम. इट इज अ library system which automate all the library activities, and it will help us to manage all the primary functions of a library management, like we can organize, we can handle, we can maintain all the records of numerous book. And who is a librarian? Librarian will be the one who will actually use the software to track, like, how many number of books are there, how can he retrieve records, how can he include new books, how can he make sure the borrowed books have a new date and all those things. There are many things which we are coming into picture. So what we are going to do today is we are going to take care of four things. The first thing will be efficiently searching and managing books and other resources by various attributes, right? Like you have to like search and manage books with different parameters. Now, second will be handling book borrowing, returning, and reservation workflow. Okay, book management workflows. Now, third will be managing the user roles like librarian, member, and their permission. Member and their permissions. Now, one more we'll do is we'll have an activity to support fine calculation, fine calculation, and renewal process, right? And it will include overdue and renewed books. So this has been our main thinking. Now, what will be the expectation from us? The expectation from us that we will have multiple components. So we'll discuss about all the components, and then when the interviewer will ask us to discuss something in more detail, we will go. But we'll try to keep it as efficient as possible. Now, let's just talk about few expectations which are properly written from us. ठीक है. So it will be first, it will be like efficient searching. So that means we can search a book using using attributes other than the book name. Okay, so like if I talk about one, search a book, okay, properly. Two will be again searching via name, via author, publication date, etc. And then third will be we can check about the category of books, search category of books, like if it's a magazine, if it's a journal, if it's a newspaper, and all those things. Then we will come to the second expectation will be versatility. So basically, can only a librarian can use, who can use this software? Everyone should use this software. Software that means even a librarian or a member. Now third. Third will be the reservation. Okay. So how will you reserve a book? Okay. Can you reserve a book again if it's already reserved? And how does the status of the book changes when there's a reservation? Right. Then we will talk about renewal is done now. So we'll talk about renewal is not done. Reservation was done. So renewal we'll talk about how to do a renewal. What kinds of mechanism is possible for a book renewal thing, right? Okay, now we'll go to if renewal is there, everything is there, we should take fine for late fees. So how the fine will be calculated? This will be our five more possible thing. Like if you remove versatility, which is like something which might not come to your mind, but other four things should be there, like how you will search, how you will reserve, how will you renew, and how will you accept the funds. Okay, now we'll talk about design approach. So what will be the design approach here? So first we need to identify simple core entities of, like, which all will be the core entities. Like the core entities will be obviously book, member, and librarian. Now we'll talk about the models. Like models will be what? Models will be your, Sushmita saying no, models will be this: borrowing, return, reserve, renewal, and fine calculation. So it's not something which is it's not something which is like something which is we have just created out of the box. We already discussed about it: searching a book, borrowing a book, reserving a book, renewal of the book, and file calculations. And also we need to support that we should also have a RBAC. What is this? Red blood cells? No, it's not red blood cells. It's role based access control, so that librarian can actually do all those things and member can only reserve. And again, other things is we need to ensure solid principles and all. So that's okay. Now we will talk about a design patterns which we'll be using here. So what all do you think can be a design patterns you will use? So obviously we will use multiple design patterns. And the first thing which is coming to our mind is obviously if we need to have a single instance, so that once the book is reserved, it should not be any other constraint. So if a book is reserved, it should be reserved. All the catalog, database manager, everything should run on a single instance. Now, second is a factory method. Why a factory method? Is because you have different types of books, right? You have a book class, and then you will have magazines, newspaper, normal book, fictional book. So all those, not fictional book, like journals, and those things. So that's why you need to have a factory method here. Now we'll talk about observer, because librarians and members will have to update themselves with the important changes, like how the who are the two persons, librarian and member. Okay, and what are they responsible of? They need to check about book status, reservation, availability, and due date reminders. So whenever there is an event occurs, everything should be notified and everything like that. Now, the optional thing we talked about will be strategy. Why we are always using strategy at some point of time? Because it will enable the system to switch between different fine calculation algorithms, like daily fine, flat fine, and all those things. So strategy will be used for fine calculation algorithms. Okay. So that means which one you want to use. Now we are going to talk about our actors and villains, not the villains actually, only the actors. So there will be some requirements, and we will talk about all the requirements now. Okay, so let's just talk about requirements. First requirement should be the system should actually store information about books and members and maintain a complete log of all the book borrowing, return, reserve, and renewal transaction. So store information, maintain log of complete transaction activities. Now second will be what? Second will be every book should have a unique identification number and detailed information, including rack location in the library. Each book should have a UID and location details. Now, each book should also include the other characteristics like ISBN number, title, author, and publication date. Should have its complete characteristics. Okay. Now, fourth will be uh, a book can have multiple copies, and so multiple copies with different UUID or like that. Now, fifth will be your system must support two types of user, okay, and librarian and member, and each with a library card and unique card number. Librarian, member, unique card number. Now, sixth will be every user should have a library card with a unique ID card number. Okay. Now, seventh will be members can borrow a maximum number of 10 books at a time. 10. And max, now a max retention period, 15. Now, ninth is one member can reserve one book at a time. Then something more we'll talk. One, the system should have a record of who issued, who reserved, and which item, which book, and all those things. Then right now we can also allow renewal. Then it will be uh, notifications on overdue. Okay, now what else you want? If your book is unavailable, your a member should be able to reserve it for when it becomes available. So like if it's unavailable, you can reserve it post it becomes available. Now, a system should allow users to search for books by title, author, subject, or publication date. Search. As simple as that. Now, let's just move to use case diagram, which is the most important one. And here we'll talk about first actors. Who will be the actors? So you can say as first will be the member. What it can do, he can search, he can reserve, he can borrow, he can renew or and return. Also pay fines and requests. Now the second one will be librarian. What it can do, it is responsible for managing books and books items. Okay, issuing, so manage books and books items. It can issue and return, handle reservations, manage. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, we'll just talk about it later. Okay. So now secondary actors will be system for notification and mostly notification, and, alerts. Now we are talking about use cases. Okay, so that's a real thing, and we'll talk one by one so that you can get a proper account of what it is. So let's talk about the member first. The first will be again as a login logout. Okay. Now second will be what? Register, update account. What it can do, it can also cancel the membership. What else it can do? It can view the account. Then member can also search the whole catalog. Then member can also reserve book. Then member can also check out the book, renew, return, remove, and as well as pay fine. Now let's talk about librarian. So it can the same thing, login, logout, register or update the account. It can also cancel the membership. Same thing, view account. Uh, the main function issue library card. So you can see there are certain things which are very simple and easy. So that means they will have a abstract method or a common ancestor like a user or something. It can edit a book. It can remove a book. Also, it can add a book item. It can remove. Basically, we'll have a barcode, but yeah, that's okay. Remove a book item. It can issue a book. It can renew a book. It can update the catalog once it's required, and it can remove a reservation. So, I mean, you don't need to multiply all these things, but as we are talking about a main thing, we are just going now. The main thing is library management system. So the first part will be you can actually calculate fine. Okay, like how much fine it is there, how much time overdue, flat fine is there, or incremental fine is there, like this. You can also send an overdue notification. Then you can also send a reservation available notification, and you can have a send a road. You can send a reservation cancel notification. Now we'll talk about relationship. So the generalization will be like you can actually first let me talk about this uh, relationships as we always talk about it. Maybe it's not a page three relationship status, so it's just regarding your diagram or something. So first we'll talk about search catalog. So here you can what you can do, you can search by title, author. You can search by subject like fiction, non-fiction, fantasy, and all those things, publication date. And maybe you can search by review also, but it's a filter criteria. Now we'll talk about associations. So we'll talk about first like what will include. Okay. So now we'll talk about include. Why we are talking about include here? What is include? That means like you need to include certain relationship in your diagram. Okay, what I mean by that, I mean by that is like edit a book, um, add a book, remove a book, add, remove. Similarly, this all things will have add book item and edit item, remove book item use case respectively. Now, coming to this, now this all add book item to edit to remove will have an update call, right? Similarly, once you talk about a register new account, it will include automatically a issue library card. Similarly, if you talk about issue book, it will have checkout book, right? Now you talk about checkout book, what it will have? It will have remove reservations. Now, once you talk about return book, it will have calculate fine or calculate fee. Actually, we can say calculate fee, that's better than calculate fine, but okay. And yeah, fine can also be there. Now we talk about extend one. So first, your pay fine will extend return book if it's like after the due date, if the book is written after a due date. Similarly, your send reservation available notification will extend the reserve book when the reserve books become available. I will explain you, but for now understand this. And now for send reservation cancelled notification will actually extend or remove reservation. Okay. Now use case diagram will try to draw. Oh my God. Okay. So let us move to a different thing so that we can draw a diagram. Okay, just a second.